Hello students, welcome back to Tuition Masters Class 9 and 10 YouTube channel, and today we are here with a session number 2 for grade 9 CBSE Civics, that is Constitutional Design. So today we are going to complete this chapter. Okay, session 1 we did it few days ago, right? Today we are going to do session 2 by completing this chapter, right? So before starting, we are going to do a recap also, so make sure to like this video, share preference and subscribe the channel right away. So let us do a recap for the first session which we did. The link of the same I'll attach it in the I section, and you can even search in the channel. All right. So let's do a quick recap what we studied in our previous session. We studied about South Africa. There was a system of racial discrimination known as apartheid. Okay, which was imposed by the white Europeans in South Africa. This divided the people based on the skin color, blacks and white. Okay, and since 1950, everyone, all the one who were oppressed, the blacks, colored Indians, they fought against this apartheid system. अब 26 April 1994 को साउथ अफ्रीका गॉट रिपब्लिक. ओके, इट गेन्ड इंडिपेंडेंस, यू कैन से, है ना. अब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन लिखा गया, एंड इन दैट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पीपल वर एक्सेप्टेड टू लिव टुगेदर. It is the supreme law and rule book of the country. It generates trust and coordination. It even says what powers and rights do the government and the people have respectively. ठीक है. So हमने पढ़ा था कि what is constitution. Today we are going to discuss about the Indian Constitution, the Constituent Assembly, and the values given in the Indian Constitution. So let us start with the first topic for today, making of Indian Constitution. Ab, India, vast, diversity, everything are the keywords for India, right? It's a very huge and diverse country. You have studied the size and everything in India, size and location chapter, right? I did not need to remind you. So, making a constitution for such a big country with so many types of people, it's not an easy affair. It's not a easy affair to do. India, it was born based on the partition on the basis of religion differences, right? India and Pakistan, due to religious differences, partition had to occur. Now the people of India, they were emerging from different status of subjects, right? So status of subjects, they were turning to citizens now. More than 10 lakh people were killed on the borders of Pakistan and India. Why? Because of partition. And there were the princely states, and the merger of these princely states was a difficult and uncertain task. So all the princely states doing the merging of them and everything, that was super difficult. In between that, we had to make the Indian Constitution. So in such difficult circumstances, the Indian Constitution was drawn up. When the Constitution was written, the future of country did not look as secure as it does today. That time when they were writing the Constitution, how we feel secure today, us time pe it was not the same situation. The makers of Constitution has anxiety. They were worrying about the present as well as the future of India. Now, the path to Indian Constitution. One big advantage for the makers of Indian Constitution was what? First thing, they did not have to create consensus about what a democratic India should look like. So did not have to, they did not need to create any consensus about how should a democratic India look like, isn't it? So consensus is nothing but a kind of agreement. Okay, it's kind of agreement. They did not have to create any such thing for a democratic India. Second, much of these consensus had evolved during the freedom struggle only. Okay, much of these proofs and agreements have been there during the freedom struggle when the movements took place, right? And third, the national movement rejuvenated our country and transformed our society policies. So all the national movements, you know, all the movements, right? The Champaran movement, Simon and all, right? You have studied that. You'll even study it next year. So these all movement of our country, it transformed all our social and political, you know, things. Next, in 1928, Motilal Nehru and 8 other leaders of Congress, they made a constitution. They made a draft of the constitution. In 1931, at the Karachi session of the INC, Indian National Congress, we can say it as INC, dwelt on how independent India's constitution looked like. In the Karachi session, they were discussing, okay, the Congress with Motilal Nehru, they were discussing that exactly how should the constitution of India look like. Now, the documents, both these documents were committed to the inclusion, what, Motilal Nehru's draft as well as Karachi session's draft. All these documents, they said that first thing, universal adult franchise should be there. What is it? The people who are 18 and above can are eligible to vote, correct? The first thing, universal adult franchise. Right to freedom and equality, that should be provided to everyone. Everyone should get equal rights and they should be free. Third, apart from Hindus, there are other minority religions also in India, so they should be protected as well. So they said that in the constitution, these three things are to be there necessarily. So, elections were held in 1937 to provincial legislatures and ministries all over British India. Okay, so in 1937, provincial elections took place, correct? Now, these were not democratic governments. That was not, it was like partial, you can say. The experience gained by Indians in the working of legislative institution was useful in setting up its own institutions. When Britishers were there, so when they worked for as a legislative, so now they could understand it and they got experience also how to make their own institutions, correct? That is why India constitution adopted many institutional details also, which they learned from the colonial laws, colonial as in the British laws. From them they got to know, like the Government of India Act 1935. So all those things also they included in the constitution. Now, we talked about constitution, who made the constitution, everything, who were the people, right? But now we should understand the assembly, the group of people who sat together and made the constitution for India. Okay, the Constitution Assembly, also known as the Constituent Assembly. So, what is Constituent Assembly? The drafting of constitution was done by some elected members known as the Constituent Assembly. Okay, so Constituent Assembly, it had 299 members. Okay, 299 members it had, and elections to the Constituent Assembly, key, like who will all be there in the Constitution Assembly. For that, elections were held in 1946, July 1946, and the first meeting for making constitution, it was done in December same year. Okay, now assembly, they adopted, now very, this is a very important point, very very important. On 26th November, they adopted, 26th November 1949, they adopted the constitution, but it was enforced, or it was affected on 26th January. Now when I say 26th January, anything comes in your mind? Yeah, 26th January, 26 January, what is that? Republic Day. So on Republic Day, the constitution was effect, it came into effect, and but it was adopted on 26th November itself. Why? Because on this day there was Poon Swaraj, complete independence, hence it is known as the Republic Day also, right? All right. Now next, why should we accept the constitution? The constitution was made at such a long time ago. Why should we accept this? Now, the constitution, it does not reflect the views of its members alone, but a broad consensus about its time. It's not only what the 299 members are thinking, only about them we are putting in constitution. No, it is talking about a broad, agreement of all time. Okay, and no large social group or political party has ever questioned the legitimacy of the constitution. No group or political party can question the constitution is wrong or it is having some problem, isn't it? The Constituent Assembly represented the people of India. Okay, they were the ones who were representing India. The members came from different. It's not like they took only few type of their own people. No, the Constituent Assembly had a diverse group. They had different people of different languages, different castes, different religions, different occupations. This assembly worked together in a systematic and cooperative way, and that gave the sanctity to the Constitution. All right. Now, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, right? Dr. Ambedkar, he was the chairman. You should know this, the designations of the people, the Constituent Assembly. So, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was the chairman of the drafting committee. Drafting committee means he made a draft of the Constitution, not the complete, just a draft of the Constitution he had made. And every document presented, each and every word spoken in the assembly has been recorded and preserved. Okay, and that is known as the Constituent Assembly debates. What are Constituent Assembly debates? All the documents preserved and all the words which were spoken during that time, these are recorded and are known as CAD. You can remember CAD, Constituent Assembly Debates. Now, these debates provide the rationale behind every provision of the Constitution. Now, we cannot study about all the 299 members, but yes, we have few 9 people who were the most important people who helped in the Constitution. First was Vallabhbhai Patel. Vallabhbhai Patel, you have to remember what was his position and what thing he did for the Constitution. Okay, so Vallabhbhai Patel, he was a minister of home, information and broadcasting in the interim government, and then he later became the deputy prime minister. Okay, he was minister of home, information, broadcasting. Later he became the deputy prime minister. Second, he played an important role in integration of Indian princely states. The joining of the princely states, I said, you right, that role Vallabhbhai Patel did. Next comes Abul Kalam Azad. He was an educationist, author, and theologian. He was a scholar of Arabic also. Congress leader, they were active in these national movements, and later education minister. Okay, so first he was a normal educational author and all, but later on he became the minister for education. Third, Rajendra Prasad. He was the president of the Constituent Assembly. 3 times the president of Congress and later the first president of India. So he was only the president only. First president of Constituent Assembly, then of Congress, and at the last the president of India. Okay. Next, H.C. Mukherjee. H.C. Mukherjee, he was the vice chairman of the Constituent Assembly. He was a member of Christian Council in All India Christian Council and Bengal Legislative Assembly. Okay, he was a member of that, and later on, he was the governor of West Bengal. So, what was his position in Constituent Assembly? He was the vice chairman. Next, Baldev Singh. Baldev Singh was born in Haryana. Then he was a successful entrepreneur and leader of Panthik Akali Party in Punjab Assembly. He was also the nominee of Congress in Constituent Assembly, and later he was given the position of Defense Minister. Next, we have Sarojini Naidu. You might have learned many times in your 8th grade also. Here, she was born in Andhra Pradesh. She was a poet, writer, and even an activist. She was one of the foremost women who were fighting, okay, and the foremost leaders in the Congress, okay. Later, she became the governor of UP, Uttar Pradesh. Next, we have Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was the chairman of drafting committee, not of the Constituent Assembly. He was the chairman of just the drafting committee who made the draft. Okay. Then, social revolutionary thinker, and he was an agitator against the caste division and caste-based inequalities. You might have studied his case studies also, that the caste untouchability and everything. He was a opposition. He was also the law minister later on, and he founded the Republican Party of India. Next, we have Sham Prasad Mukherjee. He was the Minister of Industry and Supply. educationist, a lawyer, and he was even active in the Hindu Mahasabha. Later, he was the founder president of Bharatiya Jan Sangh. Okay, and last we have Jawaharlal Nehru. He was the prime minister, then advocate of socialism, democracy, anti-imperialism in India, as well as the first prime minister of India. The first prime minister of India was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So we studied about some nine people. No, nine people weren't there. There are too many. 299 were there, but we studied only for a few of them. Okay. Moving to the last topic, we understood that how the constitution was made it, who played what role, but what is inside that constitution is the question. So, what are the values given in our constitution? The philosophy, what is the philosophy of the constitution? The values that inspire and guide the freedom of struggle. They are in turn nurtured by it and form the foundation of the democracy. So, what all struggles were faced during that time for freedom, all those things are laid down as the base. These values are even written in the preamble of Constitution. Okay, I said a word, preamble. What is the meaning of preamble? Preamble is nothing but a short introduction, or you can say short statement before the constitution start, okay, for telling the basic values. The makers of constitution took the inspiration from American model also and imbibed the preamble to the constitution. So it's not that easy. If you're even making a project, you take help of Google and you take help of some references, right? So similarly, even it was not easy for a constitution to be made. So that's why even they took some inspiration and references. Now, what is the preamble of India? Preamble is nothing but it's the soul. It's the main thing about Indian constitution because it tells what all things are included in the constitution. It contains a philosophy on which the entire constitution has been built up. Now, it provides a standard to examine, evaluate any law and action of the government to find out whether it's good or bad. So, government and all they read the constitution, right? All the articles and everything, correct? So, let's read the preamble of India. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give ourselves this Constitution. So, this is the preamble. Now, here you see some words: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. What is the meaning of these words? Again, that will come in your exam. So let us understand the words. Okay, what is the meaning of we, the people of India? Now, the constitution has been made by the people of India. No, British or South Africa did not come and made. India only made, right? Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Sarojini Naidu, all of these people were from India. So that is why we are telling that there is no other person who made it outside, okay, externally. Only we who are the citizens of India, we made it. Sovereign. Sovereign means that the people have the supreme right to make decision, okay, and there can be no external power. Okay, there will be no colonial rule which can come and dictate India. So we are sovereign. We have our own people as the supreme power. Socialist. Everyone should be equally treated in the society. Okay, wealth should be socially generated and should be shared also. Government, it will regulate ownership of land, industry to reduce such socioeconomic inequalities. Next, some secular. Secular is nothing but that where all the religions are accepted. Okay, all religion diversity is there. No one can, do discrimination based on religion. No official religion will be there of India. Okay, and government will treat all the religious practices, beliefs, and all the religions equally. Next, Democratic republic. Democratic means form of government we know where we are electing the rulers. Okay. Republic means that it is not a hereditary position. If the current prime minister died, the son of prime minister will become. No, it is republic. You will select it. Justice. Government cannot be discriminated. Citizens cannot be discriminated based on caste, religion, gender, etc., etc. Liberty. All of the people are to be given freedom, and no strict regimentation should be there. Unreasonable restriction on citizens for expressing their thing or thinking is wrong. Equality. All are equal before the law. Any due to any on basis of any grounds, you cannot discriminate or take away their basic rights. Fraternity. Other meaning of fraternity is brotherhood. Correct? You might have learned about it. Brotherhood. That means we all should live together as harmony. No one should treat the other as inferior. And what is the institutional design? Now, in your next grades, you will understand it more in detail. So, the Constitution is just a statement of values and philosophy, correct? It's not just that much, it is more. It tells us about many, many, many things. It's very, very long. It's not like 1 2 pages, just like your, a textbook. No, it is super long and detailed. The makers did not see it as a sacred, static, and unalterable law. They did not say, "Oh my God, this is by God. God gave this." Nothing like that. We can change it whenever, time to time, when time needed it. Constitution changes were done, and the changes which we do time to time in the constitutions are known as the constitutional amendments. Means you're changing the rules, but that only. Okay, let's go today, some no work is ever go and change the no. Whenever it's highly needed, then only people select and then they do the change. What is the role of constitution? It describes about the legal language of institutions, lays down procedure for choosing how to choose the government of the country, and it even says how much power people will have, how much power the government will have. It gives all the good rights, fundamental rights you have studied, right, to the people as well. So with this, we have completed with this chapter, constitutional design. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel right away. I'll be seeing you very soon with our more upcoming videos. Till then, take care and thank you so much.